Well, good morning again. Good to have you with me for the second day of laying foundations, thinking about prayer. 2 weeks. Let's talk about prayer, practicing in our prayers, God's presence, reflecting the truth that we have been with God. Prayer changes things because prayer changes the one who prays. Let me remind you of a couple of quotes I shared yesterday. First, from Alexander McLaren, if the soul be full of tumult and jangling noises, God's voice is little likely to be heard. I don't worry about my prayer list when I enter God's presence to pray because God is constantly available for another meeting if something comes up, if I forget something. It's not my first priority. My first priority is to spend time with God. The first priority of prayer is that we enter God's presence. We become familiar. What does it feel like to be in God's presence? We become comfortable with the idea that we have entered the very presence of God. We recognize his presence. We relish his presence. We enjoy it. We're unhurried, no agenda, no clock. I like to call it wasting time with God. Just leisure time and enjoying the opportunity to spend time in God's presence. Well, I think a lot of that might be involved in the text of Psalm 46. The Lord God is with us. The Lord God of Jacob is our fortress. And so the conclusion of the psalm says, be still. That word could be translated in a number of ways. I like the idea, relax. And actually, one of the books I consulted said it has the idea of just dropping everything. Relax, drop everything else, be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. That is so encouraging and, in one sense, so profound. Well, next week, I remind you, I'm going to be sharing each day of the week 7 rhythms of prayer that I use to guide my own personal prayer life. Over half of the days of the week, each week, are devoted to simply being in God's presence, seeking his heart, his will, his desire for me. I hope you'll especially plan to be with us next week. But I appreciate the opportunity this week to lay some foundations as we think about God's great power that he has made available to us, life-changing, life-directing, as we learn what it is to enter God's presence and to pray with humility, seeking his will and his way and the wisdom of his word. Thank you for being with me. Tomorrow, we're going to take a little bit of a break from our foundations. Word of the week. Our word will be the word radiance. I'm going to be talking about Moses' encounter with God in the Old Testament. Look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. In the meantime, go forth this day to be a blessing in the lives of other people. As people see us as those who have been in God's presence, may they say, I want to know something about that God whom you serve. Have a blessed day. See you tomorrow. Until then, God bless.